Hello, 605 Speaks viewers. I'm super excited. I've had a lot of recordings this last few weeks, some East River, some West River. We are bouncing back across the prairie. We're going to talk to some folks in the Pennington County, Rapid City area tonight, but about something that really ties across the whole world, the whole nation, the whole state. Something that you can experience anywhere you live, but we're going to find out a little bit about what it's like to experience this event in Rapid City, South Dakota. I am super excited tonight to bring on, for sure, 2 guests to start and maybe some other guests that are popping in. And usually I wait till I have my guests on the screen, but I want to pop my banner up right now across the bottom here. We're going to be talking with members of the board from the Black Hills Center for Equality. I want to make sure that I get it right, and I'm going to show you their website. You belong. That's going to be the theme of tonight's chat, is you belong. No matter who you are, where you are, South Dakota, nationwide, worldwide, you belong. And we're going to talk about why you belong. And let me bring on to the screen with me Patti and Ashley. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Oh. Hello. So here we are. It is springtime in South Dakota, which means it practically still feels like winter, but we are all looking ahead to summer. And what are we excited about in the summer in South Dakota? Pride.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about, and I've got the webpage up and I'll show it a little more in a little bit, but talk to me about the Black Hills Center for Equality. I don't know, Patti, if you want to start.
Well, the Black Hills Center for Equality officially started around 2008. Prior to that, we were a part of the center in Sioux Falls. So back then, it was sort of like two same organizations, just in 2 different areas.
Right.
But we became our own entity in 2008. And I started out as a volunteer, and then I later joined the board of directors and have never looked back. I've been working ever since.
And Ashley, Patti introduced you to me as the baby member, the youngest member of the board, or is it just newest? Are you the actual youngest, or are you just the newest?
I'm the newest. I think Alex is the youngest.
So what brought you to, there's a lot of questions that can come from that. What brought you to want to be a part of this organization and take the leap to be a board member?
I just really believe that I just want to help people's lives and have everyone accepted, because love is love. I come from a background. I've been in nonprofit field for 16 years. I have been a Lions member for 10 years. I know how. I've been a board member for Lions for a couple of years, and just I have a high belief that we need to work for our cause and love, and no one should be prosecuted for what they are or who they love or any of that stuff.
Right. And even in a perfect world, there have to be people to put the events on that bring the community together.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we all would just hang out on our front porch. Somebody has to throw the parties.
Yeah.
What is it like in Rapid City? Are you both from Rapid City, like lifelong?
Yeah. I was originally from Montana. I moved to the Black Hills area when I was 13 years old, and I am 50 something now. So
old enough to drive a car. That's what I always say. I'm old enough to drive. So, and Ashley, are you from South Dakota lifelong?
I was born and raised here in Rapid City.
So what is on the day-to-day, what do you feel like the general experience for the LGBTQ community is in your area? Do you feel like there's like a good comfort level for being out? Do you feel like there's a lot of opportunities for things to do? Are there places to meet? How hard is it to find a date in Rapid if you're part of the alternative to the general bar scene?
Well, we don't have any quote gay bar or any necessarily gay specific spaces that we can point people towards. So when someone comes someone from outside the area says, I want to connect up to the community, or I just moved here and want to connect up to the community, we really can't point them towards any particular social gathering space. What has happened is that we've had a real explosion of drag in the past couple of years. So that's probably going to be the best place to find other members, of your community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an entertainment that, frankly, everyone can enjoy.
Oh, absolutely. That is a melting pot of community when you get involved in drag shows. I know that I have in Rapid attended burlesque performances that featured drag performers and trans performers, and just such a mix of all kinds of art and talent and style and things like that. And I felt like the experience I had was the whole crowd was open, the community was open. It felt great to be there. I felt like it was just a very great atmosphere, just as much as I experience here at home.
Yeah. I would say that as far as compared to Sioux Falls, I think people can be very accepting on sort of an individual level, one-on-one type of personal connections. But when it comes to more general visibility, we're definitely not as visible as, say, Sioux Falls. And I think I've noticed, I've only been to Sioux Falls Pride once, but I know that for the Sioux Falls area, there's a lot of businesses that will put out the pride flag.
Oh, yeah.
It's very visible. There's a ton of them, gay-friendly businesses in Sioux Falls. We might not quite see that much openness to that extent of a business willing to have a flag outside their front yard. So,
how much of that do you think is affected by that, especially in the cluster of towns right there in the hills? Tourism is such a driving force for income and industry, West River. How much of that do you think is businesses wanting to be as middle of the road in everything?
I think that may play a huge factor. I think I've had, or at least heard people say that they are supportive, but they can't be necessarily openly supportive. I don't know what Ashley has experienced as being a lifelong resident, her perspective on that.
Yeah, it's hard living as Rapid City as a LGBTQ person. Like she said, there are no gay bars. But we're gonna have, and we as Black Hill Center for Equality are doing a Pride Prom, and this is going to be a place where people can come and hang out. That they might not be able to do that. Maybe just sit down and talk or dance to music. I personally have put on masquerades with the same concept in mind. It's just really hard because
I think that is a South Dakota wide, that's a Midwest and rural state issue for all young people, is to meet anybody that is new and unique, or that isn't already related to you, or isn't, a small town South Dakota, your options, gay or straight, are hard sometimes to break out of the box and meet somebody different. And if you're at all other from the norm, it's that much harder in rural America.
Yeah. Now, even though as conservative as our side of the state is, Sioux Falls obviously would be the most liberal area, Brookings, Pierre, I think Pierre folks have it particularly tough, the state capital. And
Oh,
they have, I think they have it I think they have a great deal harder than even Rapid City as, hidden as community we are. Pierre is a much different, much more difficult environment from what I understand. And that's sort of sad to say, but
right.
But even there is support.
Right. And Pierre in and of itself is kind of a strange environment because for a quarter of the year, people from all over the state are living there and fighting over what they think we all should do. So, they're experiencing something that fortunately we don't all have to go through. When talking about events, do you guys schedule any like regularly scheduled events throughout the year, or do you focus close to June, which is traditionally Pride Month?
Well, right now we have a couple events coming up. And next Saturday would be the Pride Prom that Ashley was talking about. In May, we'll be having a Rainbow 5K. And June, obviously, would be the big month, but we try to have at least some events throughout the year.
What do you think is the bigger draw this year? I know you talked about on June 28th, you're going to have Youth Pride on Friday, June 28th, and also a drag show later that night. And then on June 29th, which is Saturday, it's going to be Pride in the Park there in Rapid City. Do you think that the drag show is going to be the biggest draw? Do you think the gathering in the park? Do you feel like
the gathering apart tend to be what people think of when they talk about Pride? And I think we get, to give an example, when I started with the Black Hills Center for Equality back in 2008, the Pride Festival was held in a campground like miles outside of Rapid City, and we may be taking 100 people.
Okay.
Once we started moving into Rapid City, then the attendance became bigger, and now we're seeing attendance in the thousands.
That's amazing.
Now, Ashley, can you probably talk more about that?
We're in I think, because I'm doing the entertainment and the event coordinating for almost all of our events. We do have a lot of drag, but we're actually going to try some new things. We set out a survey to see what our community wants to see. We're very interested in meeting the community's needs and what the community wants.
I polled my kiddo. I've got to look at her text messages because I'm an old lady and I can't remember. I polled my kiddo and asked her to help me come up with some good questions. As at the idea of, well, if we were going to attend a Pride event that was different or in a different place from our own, like what were the kind of things that you would want to know? I know my first question was, will you have food vendors?
Yes. We always have 3 or 4 food vendors at the Pride Festival. And Ashley, I think, is working on some vendors for our other events as well.
Yep.
She wanted to know is if there were adult spaces that do not involve alcohol, and how much, or if the event was alcohol free, because she said, I find a lot of people struggle to find spaces other than work or home where it doesn't have to be at a bar or there doesn't have to be alcohol.
So I know at Pride Prom, we're doing what they call mocktails. And basically, basically what that is, we're doing 2 different kinds I'll tell you about, is we're going to put, 7-Up or Sprite, and then we put some edible glitter in there, and it does the color changing and sparkle thing. I think we're also doing a blue Hawaiian mix, but for my masquerade that I did, we did that and it was very popular. I've done it before in the past. But yes, we do events where it's not alcohol, it's mocktails.
Right. I love mocktails. I love sugar more than I even love alcohol. Yeah. I'm a big fan of sugar. I'm also a big fan of glitter. So edible glitter I could get out of control with.
But yeah, the center is trying to develop more events that are alcohol-free, but still fun for adults to enjoy.
Right.
Yeah. And I believe we work quite a lot with Abby's. It's a local bar and venue, and they have introduced a new non-alcoholic drink menu
And
for
that's
people
where,
who like to be there but don't want to be stuck with maybe like a non-alcoholic beer, or a kombucha,
Right.
and that's their only options.
right.
Yeah.
And we always want to encourage everybody to have a designated driver, even in this area of Lyft and Uber. It's always good to have that one, even designated mom or dad of the group that stays alcohol free or mostly alcohol free and just keeps the group together. And you want them to be able to have a good time too.
Mhm.
So, she also, one of her other questions was, where did I find it here? Oh, she wanted to know if this event is ticketed or is it free or a combination of events? Are there things that people would have to pay to attend or is it all free?
The festival in the park is free. The Youth Pride is free. The other events like the after party, the drag shows, those are ticketed events, and we strongly encourage pre-selling those tickets. You just follow our Facebook link or go to the website and you'll find the link that'll take you the spot where you can order tickets.
Excellent. Excellent. What do you think is the biggest method of promoting your organization or events for the community? Do you find Facebook or Instagram or social media, or is it word of mouth? Where do you find people saying, well, this is how I found you?
Well, we primarily do Instagram and Facebook, and we just hired Sharice Tatum to be sort of our media guru as far as that goes. And but that Facebook is primarily our promotional outlet. But we probably find that it's not what the youth use these days. Facebook is for old people like us.
Yes, yes. And you know how I know that? Because I still can do Facebook without my kids' help.
Mhm.
And everything else, I need her hand holding.
But we are also doing some digital billboards that'll promote our upcoming events, especially with our Pride events. And we'll be having a banner downtown Rapid City. That's another, physical method. And word of mouth helps. And then we have people putting up posters around downtown. So old school stuff like that as well.
Right. If somebody came to the center and said, you know what, I want to volunteer, what will I be doing as a volunteer? What are some things people can volunteer to do to help?
Well, as far as the Pride Festival itself, which is our biggest event, the help set up and tear down, be runners for vendors at the park, help with entertainment. As far as the other, like the after party and the drag shows, someone who will help with ticket sales and again with setup and decorations and that kind of thing. So there's plenty of variety of opportunities to help. And we have a volunteer sign-up sheet on the website.
And I'm going to bring that back up again and find the volunteering page, and let's see if I can share that on my screen here. We don't need to see me. There we go. Yeah, I love the picture here on the volunteer page. Just that pretty much encompasses everything, that bright glowing rainbow. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Just fill out your name, address, pronouns, and what you're interested in being a part of. Clicking on your page here too, you have a link for support groups.
Yeah. Transcendence, Transcendence is our support group. That's open to transgender individuals as well as their family and friends, allies. Gender expansive artistry is more youth oriented for, gender in anyone who gender identifies non-binary, trans, or whatever. we're hoping to develop more support groups. We particularly would like to do like maybe a monthly social for adults in a non-alcoholic environment, like a coffee shop.
Oh, yeah. And let's see, I'm clicking on the About Us next. Oh, that's another great picture. I love that too. So we've got the mission and the vision. I love your vision. The Black Hills Center for Equality's vision is a country that is accepting, understanding, and tolerant for all in the LGBTQ plus community and is safe and free of hate and discrimination. And then we've got your board members. Now, I teased a little bit there when I asked, what's the gender makeup of your board? And it's mostly female. And then I look and I'm like, that's all female. How do you think, what do you think is a hurdle that's encouraging male interaction?
Well,
Are they just afraid to do the work?
I've been with the board since 2008, so I've seen a lot of changes as far as, the gender makeup of the board members. So, it's an ever changing dynamic. As far as attracting, transgender individual, like male identifying individuals, transgender men or gay men. We used to have quite a few of them on the board. Maybe it's more targeted recruiting is maybe something we can look at in the future. But anyone is welcome to join the board.
And
we're always open for new board members.
I'm sure that plays a big role in it too, is having them find their way to you. And I'm looking
if anyone is watching the stream and would like to become a board member, shoot us an email.
There we go. There we go. And we talked a little bit about engaging the youth and, training up that next generation to take over. What do you think a young person would gain from becoming a volunteer and learning about the board? What can your board offer them for life experience?
I guess how to work with a diverse diverse set of individuals, even though we are all currently all the same gender, female. Being able to engage in discussions, event planning, working with outside organizations, working with entertainers, working with performers, working with other nonprofit organizations, working with the public, working with city officials. Just being able to work with each other and with the community as well as other organizations and the government.
How open do you feel the city government and the community in general in Rapid City is to having events like this? Do you find that your public officials, are they open about their support, or are they ignorant to it? Like, do they even realize that you're out there?
For hosting the Black Hills Pride Festival, we need a permit because this is on the city park. And we've always had a great relationship with the City Parks and Recreation Department. They've been always, happy to work with us and help us promote our event. So we've never had any issue with the City Parks Department. We also have a fairly, we let the police department know about some of our events, just so that they could be aware if there are any case of disturbances. We've never had any serious issues with like protesters or violence or anything like that at our Pride festivals. We did have some issues with some individuals at some of our drag story time. There have been some drag story time hours that have generated some protesters, but we have not experienced, violence or any huge protest or something like that.
And what do you feel instigated the idea of protesting a story time?
That the drag, I think, is triggering to a lot of people, not just in South Dakota, but it seems like nationwide. Last year there was a performance, a drag performance, I think at a university, and that seemed to have set off one particular legislator. So then he started to start trying to pass bills that would ban drag in some fashion. So I don't know, it's maybe that difference that is triggering some individuals.
And I feel like in general, the majority of the public across the state feels like that's a non-issue. They're like, if you want to do drag, do drag. If you want to go to see drag, go to see drag. There's
generally, for the general population, drag might be the first sort of introduction they have to the wider LGBT community.
Right. And I think that that's interesting that the general public thinks that that's their exposure to the community, because I can guarantee every day they go to work with somebody who's part of the community. They interact with somebody that is in a service industry that's part of the community. If you are in a healthcare setting, someone that is taking care of you will be part of the community. The community is all around you. Just most of the time, they don't have any reason to talk with you about their love life, you know, because that's not all we are. But when we want to be able to express who we love and be with who we love, that should be allowed as well. So I think it's interesting how people say, well, they don't want the kids to see this, or they don't feel like they should be exposed to this. And it's kind of like, well, are you a human and do you live on a planet? Because if there's more than 10 people, you're in the community.
What has your experience been, Ashley?
So I've been a teacher for like 16 years in a nonprofit field, and I do stories all the time. And so we have some males who do story. I just feel like we haven't evolved. And by that, I mean, girls should be girly and they should be a certain way, and boys should be masculine and they should be a different way. And when that crosses, it
startles people.
Which it's like, I feel like the United States is very behind its time, because in England, Shakespeare, the males did female parts. Right. They have a thing called pantomime, which is basically someone dressed up as a woman, a male dressed up as a woman, doing story time.
Right.
It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
So, I don't know.
I think, yeah, traditionally and internationally across all kinds of cultures, gender bending and representation of varied genders is part of art and theater and media going back forever and ever. I do think the hard lean towards the mainstream media trying to say that we're so strongly Christian, white, conservative in America. They're trying to make it look like we're something that is very, like you said, blue is for boys, pink is for girls, and nobody runs down the middle. And it's kind of like, well, I've been purple my whole life. Sometimes I'm lavender, sometimes I'm deep shades, but like everybody is not, like you said, that one or two. There's all kinds of variety of people. And I think that social media has been a great way for young people to flip the story and say, you know, just what they're showing you on general cable TV isn't all there is, which I think is great. I think the future is going to definitely be, you know, the revolution is going to be social media now.
Yeah.
And you say you're a teacher, like you teach little kids?
Yes.
Oh, you brave soul. You forget anything else that we've discussed here. That is the bravest thing you do every day. Children frighten me. What do you do when they surround you? How do you keep them at bay?
To be honest, working with kids, it's a lot of structure. Like I do the same kind of routine every day, so they know what to expect. So they don't. I've never had a really surround me thing.
Yeah, boy, if I get more than 3 kids around me, I'm phoning a friend. I'm calling for help. If I would have been on a playground during the 911 outage, it might have gotten scary for me. What's something that you think is on the horizon for either Rapid City or West River or South Dakota in general? What do you think is something really positive that's on the horizon for the community in general, or for maybe bringing more allies to the community?
Well, I think the Transformation Project is based in Sioux Falls, and it's a fabulous organization. I think it's one of the best organizations currently in South Dakota that advocates for the community. So I think they're currently achieving great things now, and I expect, much bigger and brighter things in the future from that specific organization. And we have there's a number of organizations across South Dakota. So whatever corner of the state you live in, there is a friendly organization near you, and we often collaborate. We talk to set up monthly meetings. We all get together, share what events are happening in our particular part of the state. We share happenings, especially during legislative session, keeping track of the bills. But we share resources, we share information, we share each other events, and we try to keep that connection from all corners of the state. So we have a fairly strong connection between other organizations in South Dakota, and that collaboration is pretty vital, especially when it comes to when legislative time comes around. Absolutely. I think one effort we are focusing, a lot of organizations are focusing on, is voter registration. Not only in registering voters, but also getting them actually to the polls.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And to know,
there are two different things: getting people registered and then getting them to show up at the polls. Right now, we're working on trying to get them, to the polls as well.
And even knowing where their polling place is, or what that even means.
So I think that's up on the horizon, is more efforts as far as making people aware of they need to vote in order to change what's happening in the Capitol.
Right. I think here in Sioux Falls, I always love to talk about Full Circle Book Co-op. That is one of the places in Sioux Falls that you can go and get physical materials from, like, the Transformation Project. You can buy pins and flags and other things that support Sioux Falls pride. I have to give a shout out to one of my favorite people on the whole planet is Thea Miller Ryan, because I know she's watching, and she her story of the rainbow buffalo and seeing that go all around the world. Every time I'm anywhere traveling, I will see somebody with a buffalo on their car. I know even on The Amazing Race, the rainbow buffalo made it onto The Amazing Race.
Oh, awesome.
Things like that. We have people that reach out to her and reach out to the Sioux Falls Facebook group and talk about, I was here or there or wherever, and I saw a rainbow buffalo. And I think that symbol, combining the rainbow and the buffalo, that symbol of our state and that core ethics of Midwest nice, I love that there's a worldwide feeling that South Dakota can be a safe space.
If I can interject a bit here, one thing that is also fairly exciting is that on the same time that we're having our Black Hills Pride Festival, there will be a Black Hills Two-Spirit Powwow that's happening at the Civic Center.
And is that the monument, or is that a different place?
Yes, it's the monument.
The monument. Okay, because that's what on a lot of the marketing and branding now, you see the monument. Not to be confused with anything carved out of stone. That's just the name of the Civic Center now, correct?
Yeah.
Well, the Summit Arena is the big new facility they built for concerts, the 13,000 or whatever. I guess the monument is maybe the new rebranding of the Civic Center.
Okay. That's fantastic. What do you think is there a good connection for the Native community, the Two-Spirit community, to also be visible, or do you feel like that's still a hurdle?
Well, I can't speak directly about the Two-Spirit experience, obviously. Uniting Resilience is probably the best organization currently in the state that is run by Muffy and Philippa, a married couple. They're very, very long-time advocates for the LGBT community and particularly for Two-Spirit individuals. And they have been strong advocates. They have gone to every reservation and passed on and gotten non-discrimination policies that includes gender identity and sexual orientation I think in the tribal.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and they are the ones that are organizing that Two-Spirit powwow, and they also travel across the country, attending Two-Spirit events in other states and other cities. So they've been longtime advocates, and they have their own space, and we're currently sort of working how best to support each other. But the Two-Spirit movement is very much exploding, I think, right now, and they'll have to give credit to Muffy and Philippa for energizing work in that area, because they have the double challenge of experiencing discrimination based on being Native American, as well as and having the Two-Spirit.
Absolutely. But that's, again, like, there's the example of how even in a perfect world, there needs to be the people that are the community organizers that are waking people up and saying, you want to be at this, you want to be a part of this. And that's awesome. That's a great example of way to live by example and lead by example.
But I have shared the website for Uniting Resilience, so anyone who wants to learn more about Muffy and Philippa and what they're doing and their work can certainly contact that.
I'm gonna put that right in the comments, and I'm gonna see if I can find that and share that page on our screen here. La la la, which screen do I want to share? This one. Let's make it happen here. We'll see. Again, without my kiddo, I'm not always the smartest at this. Oh, I love that their website has a chat box that comes right up to. Let's share that screen. Why doesn't it want to share that screen? Here we go. Maybe it's just not going to let me play today. Some screens, I think it won't share because because it has the pop-up for their chat.
Ah, okay.
So it's battling that. But yeah, I'm such a graphics person, and they have such amazing graphics on their page too. I love it. Oh, and I love too that it says that part of their mission is not just the Native Two-Spirit community, but also protection of the environment. Because we all have to have somewhere to live. With only basically a month and a half out from Pride, what's on your plate to get done and get ready? What is
Oh, Ashley, you're gonna have to take that one on.
I'm trying to get through prom right now. But what's on the plate? I'm just gonna call it June because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's actually gonna be Rapid City's first Pride Parade.
Really?
Yes.
So what's the route? Is it going to be down the main, down like Main?
I believe it's going to be June 1st. And to give you a bit of more context in this, we've always people have always asked about doing a pride parade, but with 7 board members and trying to run 4 events every year, the Pride Festival is sort of an entity to itself as far as organizing it. So we've had some individual organizations approach us saying what we would like to be interested in helping with the Pride Parade. So we were getting some other individuals willing to step up and sort of take up organizing and doing the Pride Parade. So it'll be sort of an interesting experience. We're not quite sure exactly how it all shake out, but this is something that's will be the first Pride Parade in the Rapid City area as long as I've been on the board.
Of all the things in the last few years that we've had to go through that have been labeled as historic and unprecedented times, what an awesome, positive, historic moment to be a part of. Like
only a couple of years after Sioux Falls had their first Pride Parade.
Yeah, how does it feel to be a part of something that will be labeled this historic event? How does it feel to be?
It's just I think there's a lot of, oh my God, what did we take on? How is So I think maybe a bit of panic. Oh my God, we've got this huge event happening, not too far off from the Pride Festival itself. So we'll see how it goes.
And Ashley will be there in a prom dress.
That's funny. So I actually got dragged into helping with the parade. The who is pretty much doing it is Liberty and Justice for All. And it's just for the parade, it's planning how to keep it safe. I guess my big thing was keeping it safe because I felt like, there will probably be people who are so against it. But I want them to know.
I think too, there will potentially be such a movement of people that are for it and want to be there. It's sometimes hard when the first time you do something, if it gets bigger and better than you expect, then it's like keeping little kids from running out in front of people and not getting your balloons tangled and things like that. I mean, just the I'm going to lean on the positive side that you're going to need to keep people safe from how exuberant they're all going to be.
So then we got that parade, and then we have Youth Pride, which I don't really have a hand on, but the after party for Youth Pride is cabaret theme.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be drag, but it's cabaret, which I really, really love because the musical Cabaret is going to be done in Rapid City. So I was like, that's ironic. And
there you go.
I've been working on getting the drag queens together, getting contracts.
All the boring stuff that goes behind the scenes with every Pride.
So basically herding cats.
Yes.
Herding cats that have gotten into the catnip and the glitter and that's fantastic.
We've always had a fantastic slate of drag queens every year. So
besides, so we talked about food vendors and we talked about the shows. Will you have vendors that are selling merchandise at the
Absolutely.
We have nonprofit organizations. We have city government officials. We have people selling merchandise. We have churches that participate in our Pride festivals every year. So,
That's wonderful.
anyone is more than welcome to sign up to be a vendor for Pride, whether it be you're selling merchandise or you're presenting information.
Do you have anybody that you know has, and maybe this isn't either of your role as if neither one of you are helping set up the vendors, but do you have anybody that's traveling into Rapid City because they want to be a part of this event?
Some of our drag performers come in from out of state. I think we do have some vendors that come in from other states for this Pride Festival.
Because that's another thing is whenever you can expose locals to the wider world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually know we do have a drag queen from Florida coming.
Oh gosh, I hope it's nice out for her. I mean, our weather's so unpredictable. You might have to shovel snow in June.
Is it not? One year we had a huge, hellacious, just hail-filled thunderstorm happening at the tail end of our Pride Festival. So that basically cut our Pride. It was bad. It was wind, it was rain, it was all this and that. And it was very short, but it effectively ended the Pride Festival then and there. But fortunately, it happened very late in the afternoon, around 3 o'clock anyway. So
that happened at the end of our Pride Festival last year. We had everything was finishing. Everybody was taking down tents. The parade was over, everything, the vending and all that was over. People were taking down tents. And then it was just like, boom, the sky opened up and it was raining. And it was just like, could not have timed better. Had it been even 15 minutes sooner, we would have all been scrambling. But yeah, but it was very, very hot. So it was actually nice to have that break. So, and especially like I watched some of the performers and I'm like, are they going to make it in this heat? Because that's a lot. A lot of them are singing. There's acrobatics, there's costuming. And I'm just always like, is anybody like fanning them? Because anybody that's seen a drag show, it's the most physical individual performance you will ever see.
And there's one photo I would like to share with you, if I may. I think it might encapsulate some of Pride here. If I can bring it up. I don't know if I can copy and paste photos.
Is it on your website?
Actually, it's on Facebook.
Let me find your Facebook.
Well, let me show you the direct link on Facebook. Maybe you can work with it and see if it. But what the photo shows is one of the Patrick Fitzsimmons. He performs as Dixie Divine, and is the primary gatherer of our drag queens. And he testified in Pierre against one of the anti-drag bills.
And I bet I can find that photo because I know I saw that several photos in Pierre. Let's see here. In the media. I'm actually like looking for one.
Well, I thought that'd probably be a good symbol of, what Pride is all about, expressing yourself and then fighting for who you are.
Remind me how to spell his last name.
Hold on. Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
Last name FITZGIBBON.
I know that there was pictures of him testifying.
Yeah.
That were absolutely striking.
Yes. That was probably I think that was a historic first.
Let's see. Oh, it's making me sign into my Argus Leader. I do pay for my media because I believe in journalism and I believe in people getting paid for doing what needs to be done to get the word out. Let's get rid of some of that. This picture is one that I absolutely was struck by. I'm going to present it. Da, 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 da. Here we go. And that picture absolutely struck me. Just seeing the whole thing of that, even though there were other people there, even though there were other people in the room, that being up front, face to face with that panel and having to just speak your piece, and how strong you have to be to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know there was, I believe, at least 2 or 3 times that he gave testimony.
Yeah, there's more than one anti-drag bill.
Absolutely. And I know he sat in front of committee at least once, and it was just every time you would see a photo, even though there was a room of people behind him, it's that being brave enough to be a voice right down in front. And if they're going to ask questions, you're the only one that's going to answer. And it's just that feeling of, we're here, and very, very powerful statement just to be there at all. What a great role model. What a great leadership. And I'm sure that people attending Pride in Pierre will get to see performers like Dixie Divine.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What is your wrap up as we're coming to the end of the hour? If you were going to give one statement representing just yourself, not even your organization, one statement, what is it like to be part of the queer community in South Dakota for you?
I feel powerful because we're gonna make a difference, and I love that.
My biggest takeaway from the Pride Festival is that you can be who you are in a safe space among so many other diverse individuals. Now, diversity, it seems to be something of a swear word for so many other people, but it really means diverse people.
Right.
And that's a fabulous thing to see. We get all kinds. We get young, we get old, lesbians, transgender, drag queens, every rainbow along the spectrum, every kind of individual, just comes here, and it's just such a positive event. That's the big thing. When there's so much negativity, there's this huge, big, positive event in the center of Rapid City.
And I think that that just wraps up so much about to have, positivity and a reason to come together just to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
For no other reason at all other than to have a good time.
And to know that there's so many other organizations and people that are behind you 100%.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I thank you ladies both for joining me tonight. I'm gonna sign you ladies off, but don't go away because I'm gonna pop back and chat with you for a minute. But I am gonna wrap up here. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Patti.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, so much to think about. So much to think about. There are so many big events that are happening here. I know Watertown has a lot of events that they plan for Pride every year. And now just the idea of that this year in Rapid City, it will be their first Pride parade. So if you've ever got up and thought, I want to be a part of history and a positive part of history, put this on your calendar. Now you know you can put yourself there and be a force for good in the universe. I just love it. And there are so many links and things. I'm going to be sharing them on the 605 Speaks Facebook page. So many things I need to research. I did not know about Uniting Resilience. And now I want to learn more about it. And maybe I'll find someone through that wants to volunteer and talk to 605 Speaks. I'm still looking for people from every county. Ziebach County, I'm holding out for you. I don't know why, but I always am. I do have some rural resources that are coming up later this month that I'm excited to talk about. And I've got a couple of musicians that are going to be coming up in May that I'm excited to talk with about the music scene across South Dakota. And yeah, and summer's coming. It's time to travel and see our whole state. So if you're interested in volunteering to talk with me about your county or your corner or your passion in South Dakota, 605speaks.com, click on that booking link and let's get it going. So thank you, everybody. Have a great night.